Hello guys, I am here, not we're here, but we're here, yay. I am here with pretty much a craft with me. This is not a tutorial, this is a craft with me on, craft along, coffee and chat, all that sort of stuff. I have my coffee off to the side because, as you can see, today we're going to use the sewing machine, and it is the new sewing machine, Uten. I have no idea how you pronounce it. Which Taylor has lovingly called Ariel. So, yeah. But today I'm going to be making some fabric ruffles, or pleats, or whatever. There's a bit of controversy in some of the groups over what to call these, because we all just call them fabric ruffles, but apparently they're pleats. Anyway, I started off doing plain ones, like so, and then a bit of a longer one, and then I decided to add ribbon to this one, which is super cool. And then on this one I decided to add some still ribbon, but more organza style ribbon, like sheer organza ribbon. It is pink and it has a bit of a sparkle to it, which went really well with this piece of fabric because there's a lot of pattern on this one. But yeah, so, and I managed to get my pleats, ruffles, a little bit more, what's the word, uniform? I don't know the word. By using just a scrap card. Yeah, so rather than doing it by hand and by eye, I'm just going to quickly take it out and make you seasick. Oh, sorry guys, gosh, that charge lead in there is really stiff. But yes, just so you can see the setup, I am using the sewing machine on, it's not actually plugged in yet, so we will do that first. Hey, that'd be an idea, wouldn't it? So plug it in at the side, switch, excuse me, sorry, I forgot about that, switch it on. This sewing machine has I have a pet peeve with this sewing machine. It is loud, and so far I haven't been able to find a volume button. Anywho, right, just to show you first before we do anything, I am going to be using it on auto sew. So I will be using this button here that says start stop. That is the needle position and the back stitch. So yep, I will be using those two buttons. The speed may vary, I don't know, sometimes I speed it up, sometimes I don't, but at the moment it is on the very lowest setting, and right now we are on straight stitch and default settings, that's the one. Okay, I'm going to be using the straight stitch on the default settings, and then I'm going to be using number 3 there, which is a zigzag stitch. And when I do that, excuse the beeping, like I said, it's loud. This is your stitch selection, so 1, 2, 3. We are now on zigzag, number 3. The auto setting is number 2, I can't remember what that means, and number 5. And I'm going to quite literally, stitch width, that's the one. Right, so stitch length will be the first one. So when we use this, I'm going to pop that up to the top to number 3. And then the width of the stitch, I think it goes to 7. Yeah, will be number 7. So that means it goes from stitching, there's the good one to show you. That means it will go from stitching a small zigzag stitch to a larger zigzag stitch. I forgot to do it on that one. Okay, first of all, we're going to do a straight stitch to sew the ribbon or lace onto the fabric while it's flat, and then when I do the pleats, I will do the zigzag stitch. Okay, so again, just to recap, switch the machine off and back on again for default. Beware of the bleep. There you go. Right, now we're in default mode, which is set to straight stitch, and default settings, which is what I am going to use. So let me pop you back into the holder and plug you in, then the battery doesn't run out. This is quite tricky because I cannot yet find the correct sort of setup for you to see this. Actually, I'm saying that, I've just spotted my old tripod, so I'll be back in a second. I'll see if I can get that to work. Okay, now this is very interesting. The tripod is literally right at the side of me, so you probably are going to get knocked about and jiggled. I apologise. I'm just tightening it up and positioning. That seems fairly good to me. I'm going to get a good view anyway, so happy days. Okay. Eek. Right, so here to the right of me, which you cannot see, I have a huge bag. I have a bag full of fabric strips that I sat on the living room floor last Christmas during Vlogmas. If you go and watch Vlogmas, you'll see me doing it, and cut a duvet cover up into thin strips. Some of them were, I think some of them were 1 inch, some were 1/2 inch. I don't think I did any more than 1 inch. I can't remember. Some of them, or there may be some 2 inch ones. Yeah, this one looks like it could be a 2. Let's see. I think I did a variety. Oh no, 1.5. Okay. I'm not sure if I did a 2. Could be just 1 and 1.5. Nearly 2. 1 3/4. That could just have been my rough guide cutting type thing. But yeah, so I have loads and loads and loads of this fabric, and this fabric is also the one that I did my vintage material vintage kit digi-kit with. So it's actually quite fun to make things with that kit and then use the actual material along with it. I'm actually considering, so here's a bit of a spoilers for you guys, I am actually considering pulling that kit after Christmas, but I'm not sure. We'll see. You know, like discontinuing it sort of thing. Maybe bring it back once in a while for a special. But yeah. Anyway, and then here to the left of me, which you probably can see just off camera, I have a bag of all sorts. Trims and lace and organza ribbon and all sorts that I got from my fabulous friend Sue. Thank you, Sue. The same Sue that bought my chocolates for my birthday. That actually was today's video. You won't be watching this today, and for those of you who do ask sometimes, today is my watch never likes, this camera should I say, never likes to focus. Wednesday the 25th of November, 2:34 p.m. I've no idea. Well, yeah, I don't know why, but some people do like to ask or do like to know what times I'm filming. Okay, so on this last one that I did, I used pink organza style ribbon. This one I'm going to use blue. It is the same width and everything, I'm going to use blue because there is blue in the material. Okay, so, and as I said, this is just a card. It's never been used, it's just a Tesco Savers card. And I'm going to distinguish between the front and the back of the material. And actually, I find it, when I'm sewing this to it, that's all we're doing right now, that's all I'm doing right now. I'm just going to sew this to the edge of this. So obviously I need a straight stitch down there just to hold it together. Then after I've sewn it, we will ruffle. It's easier to do it that way than try and tackle both together when they're loose. How I find it anyway. So to sew this onto this, I'm going to actually flip the material over so it's on the back. So this is the reverse side of the patterned material. Sorry guys, I dropped it on the floor. This material doesn't matter because it's organza style, there's no front or back to it. However, if you did have a pattern, this that you're going to sew it to, if it had a pattern, then you would also turn that over so you're sewing on the reverse. So when it's done, it's on the underside. I hope I'm making sense, I don't know, but like I said, this is not I'm kind of doing it a little bit tutorial-y style, but it's not a tutorial. I repeat, it is not a tutorial. Which side did I do that on? I just think I picked a side and did it. So I did that kind of down the bottom edge. I don't think it matters too much. Let's do this along the top. Nope. Yeah, let's do it on the bottom. So I'm going to look for the direction of my paper, and I'm going to do it so that, sorry about the light glaring guys, so when it's right side up, the flowers are at the top, so I'm working on the underside, so I want the flowers at the bottom, and that's where I'm going to sew the organza to. Okay, so I'm just going to put it over just a little bit, pop it under the needle, make sure it's in the middle. Well, make sure the needle's in the middle, and then I'm going to use, you can't see, let me just flip you down a little bit and then you can see what I'm doing with the buttons. Sorry about the wiggling, close your eyes. Okay, so let me just lift you up a tad. There you go guys, right, now you can see the buttons and what I'm sewing. I'm sorry for the wiggling. Okay, so you can see the start stop button and the needle position and backstitch button, yeah? Just zoom a little bit. Oh, I quite like having this tripod here actually. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to use this needle position to get the needle in the material. Now I'm going to zoom you in slightly to show you. I don't think you can see, but the needle is a little bit further over this way for my liking, so I'm going to pop it out and just move the material over. That's better. Right, now I don't know if you can see, but I can see the needle is now positioned in the middle of this strip. Not that or that, there, where the two meet. So, and this may get noisy, I'm going to just push the start button and then hold that a couple of seconds so that it back stitches, and then I'm just going to let it do its thing. Right now, like I said, we are on just straightforward straight stitch, no alterations to the settings, so just default straight stitch. All I am doing is sewing this organza ribbon to the patterned material, and we are on the lowest setting, speed setting, auto, so I am not using the foot pedal, it is doing it itself. I'm not pushing it through or pulling it tight, I'm just holding this blue ribbon onto the other ribbon material hopefully trying to keep it straight. Be mindful, guys, as well, what is at the back of your sewing machine. Be mindful what is over here, because obviously it gathers at the back, so it will touch on things, and if it gets too much, it'll all bundle up. I'm not overly fussed if it's not particularly straight either at this point, but if that happens, which I've just noticed this ribbon has now turned out more over that way than the other. Click the button so the needle is up, lift the foot up and pull the ribbon over a little bit, scoot that over, put the foot, press your foot back down, and there we go. See, because I've been talking to you guys and not paying attention, I have more ribbon on this than I have hanging over. So I just need to reposition. Yeah, it'll be wonky stitching, but you're not going to notice that when we've done the ruffles. So let's just realign. Needle back in. That's a bit further over for my liking, so pop that way. Needle, that's better. And I will just pay more attention to what I'm sewing. It's because I'm talking to you guys, so I'm looking through the camera. I need to not do that and look where I'm stitching. Make sure you don't stitch off. You need to attach them both together. Oh, see what I mean about this not being a tutorial? But I'm hoping you guys get the gist of what I'm doing. Also, some of you guys requested a sewing machine video, so here we are. And I'm actually really excited to be doing it. I never thought I'd be doing this kind of a video. I have done sewing videos before, but not like this. I've got a thread there. Yeah. Okay. We've got a thread, so let's get rid of that. Yeah, see what I mean, guys? When I wasn't paying attention, I went from having a fairly good hangover to actually hardly any hangover. You get what I mean. Yeah, so pay attention to what you're doing. You know, you guys very likely won't be doing a video whilst you're doing what you're doing. Okay, I'm just going to stop again because I don't know if you can see, but my needle, which you probably can't, my needle is verging right on the very edge here. Instead of here in the middle where I want it to be, it's like right there. So I will just lift the needle out, scooch over a little bit, needle back in, and then press auto. I always do that because then I can see the position of the needle before I start sewing. That's better. It's still on that verge, but it's now more this way instead of verging on the edge. And I know this is going to be a long video, guys, because I'm sewing slow. So feel free to speed me up. No, wrong one. Again, it's going more that way, so lift the foot, move it over. That's it. Needle back down and carry on. And we're nearly done. When we get to the end, we will backstitch. So I will pull you back out so you can see what I'm doing. You can see we're nearly at the end, and when we get near somewhere around here, I will hold the backstitch button. So keep an eye on kind of both, really. Okay, so now hold the backstitch button, and you know, just for like 2 rotations back and then let go. And then we're done. Okay, there is here on the side, can you see? Here, there is a thread cutter, so if you pull your thread, oh there you go, sorry. If you pull your thread out, work out, and then just put it in there and pull, it snaps your thread for you, or you could just use your scissors. Okay, I have material left, so I'm just going to cut. So we've got a nice little scrappy piece as well. Alright guys, so we now have turned the right way around. So we now have this lovely piece of material with the blue attached to it. See, that's where I went off, but never mind, I can live with that. It won't make too much of a difference once we've done the ruffles. So there you go. So now, this is optional, you don't have to, I just find it easier to chop the little stringy bits off. Okay, readjust your threads. Pop it back up. Now I'm going to put the machine, you can see from here, I'll hold you up. Noisy, so beware. I am going to select number 3, zigzag stitch. Number 3 length. And number 7 width. Can you see that? Okay. Which, like I said, will go from giving me a small close together zigzag stitch to a larger, you can't even really see it on that one, can you? Well, you can there, yeah. So it'll go from giving me that small close together stitch to a longer that way. Can you see this one is wider that way than that, and it's more spaced apart that way than that one. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. And then this is where you do material face up. So instead of stitching on the back, stitch on the front. I'm just going to, and this is just pretty much do it in the middle. You don't need to worry about this now, just in the middle. So including this edge and that, find roughly the middle. Pop your foot down. Middle for me would be this part of my presser foot. I think it's presser foot. Excuse the terminology, I'm not that good here. This foot. Sewing foot, presser foot. This is lined up pretty much with this edge of the material between that and where the blue starts. I'm going to try and keep that lined up all the way down. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the needle in, and then you can see the buttons. I'm going to press auto start and then immediately press back stitch and then let go, and then stop it. Lift with the needle in. I am going to lift the foot up, and this is where my card comes in handy. I'm going to put my card here and under. Can you see it creates that crease? Pleat, crease, whatever. Under. Now how far back you do it depends how big you want your crease or whatever. I'm just going to, there you go, create one. With the card there, pop the foot down, slide the card out, and then push the start and stop. This is where you keep an eye on your needle. Stop before it gets to the end, and then again create another pleat, pop the foot down with the card there, pull the card out. That stops the pleat from undoing. See, so if you do that and think, yeah, it's there, and then pull it out, sometimes it will stay in place, other times as you pull the card out it will unravel. I've found though that if you do that and pop the presser foot down, then take it out, it stays pretty much exactly where you want it to. Okay, and then auto sew until it gets either that side or that side on the end of the pleat, and take it out. I'm still on the very lowest speed here. Then again, trying to keep these lined up and the whole thing centered. Again, there we go. Another pleat. Okay, here we go. Lift the foot up, always with the needle in when you lift the foot up, guys, otherwise your whole thing will come out with you. There you go, another pleat. And that's it basically, guys. Until you've done the whole thing. Again, try and keep it straight. And if you feel like, oh, I didn't come far enough, or I could do another one, then just press the button. The reverse stroke needle position button. Backstitch button, basically. On this machine, I don't know if that would work for other machines. Another pleat in there. Alternatively, with this machine as well, if you're a bit nervous about, oh, I don't know with the auto sew if I'm going to do it right, then create your pleat, pop your foot down, and instead of using, let me do that again, that didn't quite go right, there, that's better. Instead of using the auto sew button, so the stop, what you would now do is push that button just once each time, like so. So you're pretty much controlling that needle yourself. I'll show you again with the needle doing its thing. Again, like I said, that's for this machine. I don't know about other machines, you'd have to experiment. That's using the needle position button rather than the auto, like the stop button. Okay, and there you go. But I find on the very slowest speed setting, the stop button is easy to control. Very easy to control. I love this machine. And by using the card rather than doing it by hand, you get, I don't know, I tend to get a more, I'm not sure the wording, uniform, I don't know, cohesive, I don't know, I can't think of the word off the top of my head right now. It just looks better, basically. See, like, you can do it by hand, definitely you can do it by hand. I just find it easier to use the card. Even, that's the word I was looking for. When you use the card, the pleats somehow just tend to seem more even. Just straighten up a little bit. There we go. Coming to the end now, near enough. I I am not a sewer either, guys, by any means least. For people watching, 12 months since, I was absolutely terrified of my sewing machine. I absolutely hated it. The thought of sewing used to give me massive anxiety. Whilst I was sewing, I had massive anxiety. But then, you know, I got to grips with my sewing machine and kind of slowly got over my fears, and now I've moved on to a new machine because my old one started playing up. We still have her. And this one, I just love it. This auto sew function is amazing. Okay, so now we're at the end. So I'm going to auto sew till it gets onto this piece, and then I'm going to backstitch. So I'll pull you out so you can see. Well, you can see what I'm doing anyway. Right, now backstitch. And stop. Lift up. And there you go. And then I tend to use the needle, the thread cutter thing on the sewing machine. And there we go, guys. There she is. Nice, cute little finished. Cute little finished article. Let's see if I can get you down. The lighting's a bit rubbish because the sewing machine's there. There we go. And there she is. A nice little piece with blue trim on. Now you could either put that way down a journal, so the blue's hanging over, or you could put it. Well, I would, yeah, the whole idea of adding the trim on the side is so that you put it that way so the blue hangs over, you know, but you could put that down the side of a page, you could put it across the page of the belly band, cut pieces off and use it as a tag topper or tabs on the side of a page, that sort of thing. It's just, great. Absolutely great. And if you don't like these where they, you know, where they could bunch up, then just pop it back into your sewing machine and run a straight stitch down just to keep them into place. But yeah, it's awesome, guys. And you know, the same thing, that was a really wide piece. Oh no, it wasn't actually. It was the same piece as that, but a different colour. So it was like this wide sort of thing. But yeah, and it'll work with anything. So, you know, any type lace and what have you. So let's do this small piece that we had to cut off. And let's have a look. This coffee dyed. This is coffee dyed Atida. This is coffee dyed. Not sure about that. So we'll use a white one. I know white ones work, I've used them before. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So, measure out and cut. Sorry about the noises, guys. The kids are about to come out of school. Obviously due to the time. And Fedman's due home soon as well. So what I'll do for this one is I will video it, but I will knock the sound off and speed it up because you've just watched me do this. But yeah, so same thing. Turn it so that it's pattern facing down, and this will sew on the bottom so that the flowers are at the top and the lace is hanging down the bottom, like so. And then we turn it over and we do the pleats. Okay, so like I said, I will not keep zooming in and out. I'll leave you there and I will do this, then speed it up and add it on to the end. But this video is nearly half an hour long, so I will love you and leave you here. Like I said, I'll add the other bit on to the end. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for hanging with me, guys. And I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.